Welcome to another episode of Pels in the Blender with your boy A Davis. Coming to y'all on this what's today again? I'm always losing track of my days, man. I really work a lot, so I always lose track of my days. On this Tuesday evening, here to give y'all another episode about our man, Mr. Not on Herb, Mr. Herbert Jones. So what I want to discuss today is I kind of want to talk about Herb Jones from a offensive perspective. So we already know that Herb is a defensive beast. I mean, was first team all defense, one of the first wings to get that spot since they, allowed it to be positionless, and for him to do that was extremely impressive. Um we already know what Herb is defensively, what he meant for the team, what his presence means from a leadership standpoint. Uh and you can't say enough things about Herb on that side of the court. He guards the best player. He's reliable. He's clutch at the end of the game. Like, he always shoots a good free throw percentage. He shoots about 80% from the free throw line. So all of the intangibles we know we're gonna get from Herb Jones, and that's great. We still need Herb to do all of the things that he's already been doing, and the things that I think we know he's gonna bring to the floor on a daily basis. So I don't really want to talk too much about the defensive side of Herb's game, because we already know, again, like I said before, we already know what it is what he's gonna do. He's gonna accept the toughest challenge, especially right now with DeJounte being out, because when DeJounte got brought in, that was one of the things that he talked about, relieving her on that side of the floor. So, maybe sometimes they could switch up with the matchups and stuff. But with DeJounte being out, then more than likely that'll uh fall back on her to take those matchups every night and do the best he can. He's a real crafty defender, fantastic. One of the things that I was looking at, because since Herb got this new contract, I've been, and not necessarily just because of the contract, but I was, when I really started doing this show, and I was talking to, and Chris Conn is one of the first people to kind of really emphasize Herb in this way, because I was of the mindset like, man, Herb is extremely valuable. Maybe you can maximize the roster by moving Herb Jones, and maybe getting a piece that fits a little bit better, that makes your team a little bit more dynamic. But then you start talking about it, and as far as like fit wise, Herb Jones absolutely fits. And a lot of people talk about the fact that Herb is the perfect kind of player that you need on a championship team. He just fits in extremely seamless. So I went to looking at it and thinking about a lot of the Pelicans' more successful runs, and again, I was emphasizing, man, it was Z and Trey, when they removed BI and you had that space, and then Herb was able to do his thing. But I thought it was mainly Z and Trey, and Chris Connor was like, really emphasized, like, man, you got to include Herb in that, and the things that Herb provides. I'm like, okay, well, with that being the case, maybe I really need to look at Herb a little different. Since then, Herb has gotten the extension. So, Herb is, unless something drastic happens, this team pretty much plans on having Herb Jones for the future. Moving forward, he signed an extension of around 20 million. He's still on the current contract that's around 14 to 15, I think it was, but somewhere in a couple seasons that number is going to jump to 20 million. So when you get the extension, bro, like, we need more production. So I was trying to figure out how Herb can still be Herb, but actually produce the way I think we need him to produce at that number, and to fully maximize him, and what it is that other players that are around that make in the same sense, I guess. So I was comparing Herb to players like Derek White when Derek White got traded from the Spurs to Boston and the role they had Derek White playing there. The Ime Udoka Derek White team. And then players like Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort, and Alex Caruso are all kind of around that same vein of kind of what Herb is. It's like tough nosed defenders with we taking the best players pretty much every game. Derek White necessarily is a little different, but he guards some of the best players throughout the game. Dylan Brooks absolutely guards the best player. Herb Jones, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso. When you're in that kind of tier of player, I was like, what do their stats look like? To what, like, so we could kind of get a baseline of what it is that we need from Herb Jones to be able to honestly make this money worth it. Because just being honest, like the defense matters, but you got to do more than what they provide on the defensive end. One, if the team is going to be successful, and two, to get to get what it is, to get where we need to go. Like Herb has to do more than what it is he's been doing. So the 49 win season was Herb's best season, and it's hard to kind of hold it against Herb. Last season he only played 20 games. You know, he had the shoulder injury, just had a procedure. So, and the roster around that particular team was all over the place. Everybody was hurt. So you didn't even really get to see a chance of like Herb in his role consistently. Also, from day one, like I said, they brought in DeJounte, so you were working in some new pieces. Z wasn't there. So it was just, last year was really hard to be critical, or not necessarily be critical, but it was really hard to judge Herb. So, and you know what? I honestly give players a mulligan because your career potentially can be long and a lot of things happen. So like Herb getting hurt last season, you know, everything was kind of, I don't think it's like a referendum on Herb because he's typically healthy. He plays hard. Like he's always reliable to do what it is you need him to do. So I kind of give Herb the pass for last season and don't mind him getting the extension. But I kind of want to look at some of the numbers first, and then want to show some of the video of what I think Herb can look like if he does what it is I think we need to do for him to produce and be what it is we need him, like, and be what it is this team needs him to be for them to do what I think they can do, is, and that's that top six seed. So in the 49 win season, Herb averaged 11 points a game, 4 rebounds, 11 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3.6 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and then 1.4 steals. He shot essentially 50% from the field and 41% from three. Most of those threes were corner threes. He was really good in the corners, but even still, shooting 40% from three is still a good number. Now, the problem is he only shot 4 threes a game. Like, even if you're shooting 40% on 4 threes a game, that's not enough volume over the course of the game to really impact it the way that we need to impact it because of how people guard our team. Like, they're gonna leave Herb open majority of the time, and it's been that way for Herb. And credit to Herb, he's improved as a shooter, but people aren't just guarding Herb Jones. So he's gonna be able to get that shot like pretty much anytime he wants to, like, you know, within the offense and stuff. But if you're only shooting 4 a game and you're playing, last year Herb played 32 minutes in his 20 games, and before, the year before that, Herb is roughly around a 30-minute per game guy. And granted, I get he's doing all of these things defensively, but we need more. And he does play well in transition. He does some other things, but we need you to get more than 4 threes a game up, especially with this new money kicking in. So here's an example of what I mean. So Derek White Derek White, and now Derek White just got the extension, so he's averaging he's at 30 million a game. So I think at 30 million a game, that offensive production is absolutely needed. Like he needed to take an offensive jump. So right now he's averaging roughly 15 to 16 points a game, but he shoots the ball 9 threes a game. He shoots 9 threes a game at around 38%. If I'm paying him 30 million, that's exactly what his numbers need to look like. Like he shoots as many threes as Jordan Poole. And they play in a fast break offense. So for him to be able to get that many shots up at 30 million a game, that's exactly what he needs to do. But Derek White, at when he first got over to Boston, and Ime Udoka, who didn't play how what's his name? How Joe Mazzulla plays, he was shooting roughly 6 threes a game. 6 threes a game, around 36 to 38%. Something like that, right? Again, Dillon Brooks. We know what kind of defensive pest Dillon Brooks has been over his career, right? Even when he was in Memphis, was a tough, hard-nosed defender. And not a great offensive player or anything like that. You don't expect those guys to be great offensive players, but Dillon Brooks absolutely contributes. Last year, he averaged 14 points a game and shot 6 threes a game. Shot it at around 39% from the field. Lou Dort, we know, like as Pels fans, we know exactly what Lou Dort is, right? So Lou Dort only averages 10 points a game, but the last couple seasons, he shot 6 threes a game at 40%. That's the 20 million, makes 20 million. That's like the range that Herb Jones needs to be in. Tough defenders. Alex Caruso. Now, Alex Caruso in the OKC season is really tough to judge because he was only playing 20 minutes a game, came off the bench, and he still shot around 4 threes a game. Before that, when he was in Chicago and he had got that money, when he was around that $20 million player, averaged 10 points a game, shot 5 threes a game. So essentially the trend is, if you're going to be that type of defender, one of those top tier defenders on the floor and play around 30 minutes a game, we need to get at least 6 threes a game from you. And you got to shoot around 38 to 40%. Otherwise, you can be considered sometimes an offensive liability, especially when you're on the floor, because when you play a player like Lou Dort, Herb Jones, Dillon Brooks to a degree, you're never running offense through those guys. So they'll be able to do almost anything offensively that they want, because they play with such offensively demanding players. As far as like for Herb, he's played with CJ and BI and Zion and Trey and all of these people, JV, all of these players that need touches before Herb, right? So if that's the case, you already know you'll be able to get just about any shot that you want, and the defense is just not gonna focus on you. Joe Mazzulla said it before, like we're gonna live with Herb Jones, like Larry Nance. We're gonna live with those dudes shooting threes. They just don't shoot it at the volume that it will take to really impact your defense, in my opinion. So that's the one thing we need. We need Herb to get the 3-point shooting attempts up to at least 6 a game, and we need him to hit those at around 40%, which we saw him do in the 49 win season, and we need him to get back to that. Also, I need Herb, like a lot of people didn't really watch even the games that Herb did play last season. Herb started expanding his game a little bit because, in my opinion, I think Herb needs to shoot from more spots other than just the corner. So like I need Herb to be able to shoot that wing three as consistently as well. Like also, and he does other little things, like you said, he can pass, he can create. Sometimes he takes people off the dribble. He's a great cutter. He's a great cutter off the off ball and stuff. So he does a lot of things that you absolutely need him to do on the floor to be an effective player. But shooting the 3 ball, especially in today's NBA, is crucial for this team to be successful, especially if you have Zion, Poole, and Trey that's gonna demand a lot of the defensive attention. if Herb Jones can give you Lou Dort production, and Lou Dort isn't producing no crazy numbers. Lou Dort averages 10, 4, and 4. But it's the defense and the fact that if he's going to shoot 6 threes a game and knock them down at a 40% clip, and sometimes it's more or less, then like that's a hard thing to have to account for. And we need something similar from Herb Jones. So the first video I want to play is possibly Herb's best offensive game. This was the one of the regular season games, but essentially it sealed the play-in game against Memphis a couple years ago. And Herb was absolutely fantastic. He scored 35 and just open shots, knocking them down. So I think this is not saying that he's going to get 35, but I think this is the kind of offense that we can see from Herb. And these are the things that he just needs to do. So let's go ahead and get that started. See, basic plays pass. They're going to double a player like Trey. Wide open. That's all you got to do. Knock down your open three, right? He does have some ball handling ability. See, if they're going to play you that far off, just be able to step in and make people pay. Those are the things when I say Herb needs to expand his game. Playing the pick and roll a little bit. Swing. Bro, you're wide open. Just confidently knock that down. And over his career, he's gotten better at not hesitating when he sees an open look. Like he's put the work in with his shot to where if you leave him open, he's not hesitant to shoot it. Look, just playing in the pick and roll, just easy things, bro. His game is gonna be it's gonna come to him so easy because the defense isn't gonna account for him too much. So he has to be able to take advantage of that. Plays in transition. This was a great pass. But see, they're gonna double on it. Wide open. You just gotta knock down the open shot. That's what Herb's gonna look at majority of this season. Again, but defense not paying attention to you. Great cut, finish. All you got to do is the little basic things, man. And Herb does all of those really well. So I'm not saying Herb has to take a drastic step and like he already handles the ball really well. He passes pretty well. He does all of those things, at a pretty good level. But if we can just get him to consistently do these things, step up and shoot that three from more spots, cut from other areas on the floor, finish, everybody has to get better with finishing. Draw the double, kick wide open, knock it down. Excuse me. Knock it down. You'll never see Herb Jones get double teamed. Swing it, wide open, just making the right play. That's all he's doing, making the right play. And you know what he's going to give you defensively. Running the floor, plays hard. Like, I don't think there's much more like we can ask for from her. And again, in that game, he ended up having 35 points that game. Just literally knocking down open shots and cutting to the goal. So are you telling me that we can't get that from Herb Jones? Absolutely. Absolutely. We just need him to be more consistent with getting those shots up, because 4 a game isn't gonna cut it. Not with everything that got on the line, not with the money they just paid you, not with what's invested in you. And again, all of your counterparts that are similar in money, or that's roughly what it requires. 5 to 6 threes a game, 38 to 40%. And a lot of people were talking about like the rebounding numbers, but I looked at their rebounding numbers as well. Most of them are averaging around 4 rebounds as well. So initially I was beating up Herb, saying Herb needed to be a better rebounder, and he does need to be a better rebounder. Don't get me wrong. But I'm looking at the numbers, and Dylan Brooks isn't averaging 6 rebounds a game. Lou Dort doesn't average 6 rebounds a game, 5 rebounds a game. Caruso's not averaging, and again, Caruso's a guard, but all of these other players aren't averaging that a game. That's not to say that we can't ask Herb to be a better rebounder, but the people that are playing similar roles to what Herb has and the defensive responsibilities that's going to be placed on him with the, with the amount of minutes trying to stay out of foul trouble and stuff. If Herb can average 4.5 to 5 rebounds a game and shoot those 6 threes, shoot at least the 6 threes a game, then we'll be having good conversations regarding Herb Jones. Now, this is some of the highlights from the 24-25 season. And the reason I'm wanting to show these is because Herb actually was developing the offense. Like, he actually came in looking to take a step offensively and was expanding his game. If we could just get the efficiency, and obviously that comes with health and consistency with the lineup. But if Herb can shoot 40%, you'll see that Herb was actually doing a lot more than what he had done in previous seasons. He's always going to be a good cutter because he just knows the game. A very smart player. Screen, cut, finish around the rim. Cut, finish around the rim. Handling the ball up top, running some point guard. Everybody always asks for Herb to be able to do that. Let me go ahead and rewind it a little bit, because I'm not asking for Herb to consistently be able to do this, but if he can add some of that, being able to take a man off the dribble, score a bucket, that's just going to help you. That's going to help the team. Without the amount of attention that they're going to pay to other players, bad cut, bucket. Herb just needs to be like a nuisance to where it's like, man, we got so much to worry about. And here we go. We got Herb Jones hitting shots or getting by people. That's the kind of things that really, break your team. Top of the key. Be able to hit those. Be able to shoot those. Confidently shoot those. Take a man on the screen, bump, layup. Like, if Herb adds this to his game, it's gonna serve us really, really well. To see the wings. I need him to shoot those more than just that corner confidently. If we could get those at around 40%. Good tip in. There you go. So it's not like we're asking good cut. He's gonna do the little things. Some pick and roll, him and Z working on the offense. You could tell he had put in some work. I don't know, this little crazy. Patient, drive, layup. Space, knockdown. It's always, bro, it's not like Herb gonna be in transition. Finish. He's always been good in transition and finishing around the rim. He's gonna need to be able to keep doing that. Spacing, 3. Good shots. Good shots. All of these are great shots. Double, wide open, no hesitation. Knock that down. No hesitation. Knock that down. Look how open those shots are. That's gonna be all season for him. Wide open wing. That way you could stack, put somebody else in that other corner. If you could put him up in that wing position sometimes, and he can attack the defense, attack the middle of the paint, the way he can play make for others, finishing at the rim. If he gets the finishing together, bro, it really just opens up the entire game for everybody. Wide open, corner 3. Look, just over that spacing. Hand down, man down, splash. Like, little drive from the wing area, finish. In transition, one man, take him, make a layup. Look, 3 people in the paint, wide open threes. Last year, he shot the 3 at 30% last year. That's just not good enough. That's not good enough. And again, you got to give him a little grace because he was hurt and, trying to work his way back, trying to find his rhythm. And then the roster was, everybody was hurt. So it was a tough season for everybody. But Herb Jones, we all know, similar to Trey Murphy, works on his game, has improved his shooting significantly. If his surgery and everything went well, I'd imagine it did, but for them to give him the extension, and from what they're seeing from him, he's looking pretty good. attacking the paint. And again, I'm not even saying we need that from Herb Jones, but if he's able to add those things to his game, all I really want is for him to be able to hit the three from different positions other than the corner, and occasionally be able to take somebody off the dribble. But if he's taking people off the dribble and finishing, like attacking closeouts, making plays, it's just so much versatility that it brings to the offense. Wide open. Like him, players like Herb, and I'm only talking offensively, players like Herb, Jordan Hawkins, all of those players are just going to live with open shots because the amount of gravity that Zion has, that Trey's going to have, Jordan Poole's going to have. Got fouled on that one. Pump fake, drive, finish, trying to draw contact. No hesitation. No hesitation. He's gotten so much better at shooting those or just being confident in the shot. Does a really decent job screen. He's one of the only people that really seems like tries to screen too. He can improve. Good finish, drive and finish. I like that he's not hesitating with any of his movements. Gives him the ball, is very decisive. I'm attacking you, I'm shooting the three, or I'm gonna get off it quick. Screen, little short, patient roll, right up, finish. Go right up with it. Tough drive, tough finish. Tough drive, finish in transition. You know they gotta help. They're not really trying to stop Herb Jones. You watching other people. Kick, trail. That's what I mean right there. If he could add those, hit some of those, 6 a game. And like I said before, I was like, man, Herb need to give us like 12 to 14. If Poole, Z, and Trey do what I think they're gonna do, you could probably live with 10 to 12 from Herb if he's getting up the 6 threes a game. Now I get if he's shooting six, I think if he's shooting 6 threes a game at 40%, he's gonna average more than the 10 that he averages because of all of the other little things that he does. And again, he's a shit, he's been one of our most clutch free throw shooters the last couple seasons. Herb shoot 80% from the free throw line. Transition plays. Gets his buckets easy. Good finish. So that's pretty much what I'm expecting, man. I think Herb can take an offensive leap. And when I say an offensive leap, I don't think he has to, oh, don't trip, he'll bang on you too. Pause. That seemed a little crazy. But if he catch you slipping, he'll dunk on you, he'll flush it on your ass. But if Herb can be more consistent, take an offensive leap, shoot 6 threes a game, and keeps doing what he was doing last season more consistently, then ready to shoot, not hesitating. You know what I noticed too? The thing about Herb and Trey coming into last season, after having a successful season that they had, because again, coming into last season off the 49 win season, they had confidence, man. Them dudes were playing like they belonged. They just knew that they were hurt, and things were tough, but they play with the confidence of, hey, man, we belong on the floor with a lot of these top teams. Kick, leave me open, I'm gonna hit that. But look how open those shots are. Look how open most of Herb's shots are. I mean, nobody's around. Got to be able to hit those. Drive, wide open corner three, late contest. Got to hit. Got to hit from both corners, not just one. Got to hit from both corners in the wing areas, man. Both corners in the wing areas. If he could be effective from both sides of the floor, and hit consistently, we're gonna be in a good position. So I'm not gonna hold y'all too long, man. That's all I wanted to come out and show today. Like I think Herb has increased value. Obviously, his defense, we know what that is. Herb Jones we know is going to be a first team all NBA level defender. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to make that team. But between what we see Lou Dort and what he does for his team, what Derek White to a degree does for his team defensively, I mean, what Dylan Brooks has done for the Rockets and Memphis when he was with that team, Herb Jones is that for the Pelicans. So if he can get that shooting number up from 4 attempts to 6 attempts, shit, I wouldn't be mad he shoot the 3 7 times a game, if he's gonna be out there for 30 minutes. And if he consistently does what he does as far as playing in transition, finishing at the rim, gets those things up, just becomes a little more as far as we don't know what kind of ball handling responsibilities he's gonna have or how they're gonna use Herb Jones in the offense, but we do know that sometimes in the short roll when they throw it to him, he can catch and finish, or he can run the pick and roll, and even showed in the video he was able to take some people off the dribble and finish at the rim and create for other people. Herb Jones is a really good passer as well, so we just need Herb to do what he does already from that 49 win season, and we saw him implementing some of that last year. Just last year wasn't a good season for anybody. But if he comes in again, continues to work and take his game to another level, with that new money, I think we'll be in for a good season. So that's gonna do it for me. Again, like, share, subscribe, comment, everything, man. I appreciate everybody and all the love that we've been getting. I'm your boy A. Davis for Pels in a Blender. I'm out.